days go better.
Okay, hi, favorite Coach Angelo moment. There's quite a few, but one that I remember quite well. We were doing thrusters with barbells, and the barbell went up. I took the barbell up and it clipped my nose, and I dropped the barbell and went running into the lobby, and I was crying. It hurt. I was swelling and bruising, and Angelo stopped everything, came in to the lobby to make sure I was okay. Then we got back to class, and then this is the classic Coach Ange moment. He then later sends me a video of Marsha Brady getting hit in the nose with the football, screaming, "My nose! My nose!" So, gotta love you, Ange. Thanks. Bye.
All right. What is your favorite Angelo moment?
So many funny ones. I think one that sticks out, I remember doing toes to bar once, and I think for like set 3, I decided to do knees to elbow, and then from across the gym, I hear Angelo saying, "Aisha, why did you do that?" And I told him I was just trying to save my energy. He's like, "You have plenty of energy. Don't ever do that again." So that's the way I remember him.
I have had 5 years to have so many experiences, but I'm going to pare it down. First coaching moment from Angelo was he told me I could never wear a baseball hat because it got in the way, which he was right. However, one day there was another girl who was wearing a baseball hat and seemed to be allowed to do so. When I asked him, "Why can't I wear my baseball hat?" he said, "Because she's younger and hotter than you." Thank you. Second was when I was really upset and I was crying because I couldn't do something because I had been sick. And he pulled me aside and said, "You'll be able to do that again. Just remember you're always Allie." And I thought that was cool.
One of my favorite Angelo moments was probably within the first month that I started OCF. I was working by myself in the gym, and my bar was on the rack crooked. And I was kind of by myself, and I was feeling a little sorry sport, and he came over and adjusted the bar off of the rack on the rack for me. And for some reason it just really touched me that he noticed what I was doing, and I kind of got all teary-eyed, and I actually left class and was in the bathroom for a little bit crying because it meant so much to me that he had noticed me and cared about what I was doing.
What is your favorite coaching moment of Angelo?
Well, I remember back when we were in the little gym, when people would come in late, he would have them run down the street carrying a plate over the head, or maybe throw some lunges in there while holding the plate over the head. So we never wanted to be late.
What's your favorite Angelo moment?
Angelo got a flat tire about a year and a half ago, and we had to go to Just Tires to get it fixed, and it was me, him, and Lou who went. And that was probably the first time I had any correspondence with Ange outside the gym. I think the non-gym times that I spent with Angelo are my favorite.
And what's your favorite Angelo moment?
I really enjoy Ange's verbal abuse when it's like wrapped up in sarcasm. He gets me. He gets my personality, and that shit flies with me, so I enjoy
We
that.
have a lot of Angelo moments, but what's your favorite?
My favorite is when we had our coffee talk and Angelo went really deep with me and told me I need to love myself. It was actually true. My tattoo that I got.
Did you get that because of Angelo?
I did.
Best one ever. Best one so far.
Two real quick things about Angelo. Number one, every Sunday we used to do our 3-minute squat hold, and he'd tell everyone they had to do 4 minutes if I could stay on for 3, which I never could. But on a more serious note, about 6 months ago when he convinced me I needed to go to Game 7 of the Cubs World Series, and he and I hopped in a car and just drove there and drove back for the experience of our lifetime.
All right, so my favorite Coach Angelo moment, when I first joined here about 3 years ago, I don't even remember, to be honest, how long ago it was. I had a hard time figuring out how to swing a kettlebell. And Angelo's beautiful and vast vocabulary that he uses told me to stick a member of my body through the wall in front of me. I will say that girls would have a hard time doing that because they don't have that member of their body. Guys would not. It taught me how to teach kettlebell. Here's the kicker with the story. About a year and a half later after that, I was at a CrossFit headquarters seminar for the weekend, earning a different certification that I was working on. And one of the breakout groups that I was working with, I had the opportunity to work with the flow master at the time, who was James Hobart. James Hobart is a veteran in the CrossFit world, multiple games CrossFit competitor, and won the teams, meaning he was the champion team member with Rich Froning's team out of CrossFit Mayhem. After my little, I guess, starry-eyed surprise kind of wore off talking to James, we were in a breakout group and he said, I'd love you guys to go around and give me like some unconventional cues with a movement that you've used that happened to work, and came around to me. I was having a hard time thinking of something, and I subsequently blurted out whenever people are having a hard time swinging the kettlebell to tell them to stick their dick through the wall. Without Coach Angelo's help, and without remembering that I have since the day he said it, James Hobart wouldn't have laughed as hard as he did. The other guys in the group that I was with wouldn't have laughed as hard as they did. And courtesy of Ange, James Hobart came up to me after the day was done and told me that the dick through the wall cue works 100% of the time. So thank you for everything, Coach. Thank you for everything to a really good friend of mine, and thank you to you for everything you've taught me, because you're somebody I've looked up to for a very long time now.
My favorite Coach Angelo moment is when he wanted to show me a picture of his vacation, and it was him dressed as a butterfly.
My favorite thing about Angelo is his shock and awe approach to teaching, especially in the Ollie class. I think the first or second class, when we were just stretching, Angelo, first thing out of his mouth, everybody get a barbell, a PVC pipe, and a dildo, and let's all lined up here.
My first Olympic lifting class. I really didn't know Angelo, and the first word out of his mouth addressing me was motherfucker, and I went, who is this guy? I mean,
my favorite Angelo moments, besides the non-stop ball busting, would be the Sunday class last summer and last week when he jumped in our class. And for a guy who just walks around and looks like an office puppy all day, he can definitely push himself and made the class absolutely crazy, and was some of the best workouts we've had here. So I just appreciate him and his fitness overall.
My favorite Angelo moment is when I first started in the summer. Paula was in my class, and he hiked up his pants super high, and then he's like, hey Paula, I see you checking out my junk, and then she felt really embarrassed, and I thought it was like the funniest thing, so that was my favorite moment.
So my favorite Angelo moment was back at the old gym when I pulled up for a class, I forget what time, but he told me I was late, and I wasn't even late, but he made me run with a plate to 17th and back while everyone else was still in the gym until they started running. So they started running when I came back.
My favorite Angelo moment is when he helped me prepare for my first marathon. I was very stressed out about it, and I texted him right after, and he just told me how proud he was of me. And then I came in about a week later preparing, wanting to do the second marathon, and I was like, what do I need to do to get better? And he just had the hugest smile on his face, and he knew I was ready to work, and it was just the greatest moment. Thanks, Angelo.
My favorite Coach Ange moment would have to be 14.3. box jumps and deadlifts. After I finished my workout, Ange walked over to me and just said how extremely proud he was of me, that he wasn't able to actually look at me in the face at how proud he was. Those of us that know Ange know that he doesn't just hand out compliments or those kind of things. So it really meant a lot to me, and it's something that I carry on with me even years later. So thanks, Ange. Love you.
Coach Angelo moment was when I asked to be in performance to see if I was ready or not. And Angelo looked at me and he's like, well, what do you think? I said, I don't think so. He's like, I think you are. I think he's right.
My favorite Coach Ange story happened just when I started, and we were on the rower, and we had to switch from to cows, and I didn't know how to do it, so I was pushing some buttons, and Ange said to me, Joe, it's a fucking rower. You're not ordering a pizza online. Come on, let's go.
Favorite Coach Angelo moment was when he shared his big, beautiful butterfly wings with me that he wore when he went out of town and blossomed.
Angelo moment is kind of a strange one, but it sticks out in my mind. I have been an athlete of Angelo's now for about 4 years, and the day that I ruptured my Achilles, I was in the gym pretty much by myself. Angelo was there. It was a Saturday, and he simply picked me up, put me in the back of his car, and took me to the ER, sat with me in the ER, and then drove me home, made sure that I was okay, went and got my car from my house because I couldn't drive. And then the next day, I think the whole gym was at a baseball game, including my husband and some of my family. And Angelo left in the middle of the game and came and brought me barbecue because he knew that just I didn't want to be by myself. And he's always been there for me. He's the best boss, mentor I could ever ask for. And I love him. He's great.
So my favorite Coach Angelo moment is when I first started here, I found out I had 3 herniated discs. And during one of the workouts, I was doing a snatch and I dropped it on my back. And I thought I was pretty messed up. And Angelo picked me up and carried me to his car, drove me home, and then carried me in my house. That's my favorite moment.
Favorite Angelo moment?
Favorite Angelo Cisco moment was after one of the first open workouts, and I did a crap load of kipping pull-ups, and I didn't know how to do them right, and I tore my hands all up. And then I came in the next day to work out, and he called me in his office, and he made like sort of like a wad glove out of like athletic tape right here, and like the whole time he did it, he's like, look, just be real quiet, come in here, I want to do something really special for you. Don't tell any of these other people that I'm doing this, they're gonna be jealous, okay? And he taped my hands up so I could work out, but I mean, he made it fun and it made it a real like, coach athlete moment. I'll always remember that. Thanks, man.